get you out of my mind. It's like I feel it for the first time. Been thinking about you all night. I've been searching for this all my life. You're just my type. I've been looking for a boy who can treat me right. Your dark hair with those eyes so bright, they look into my soul and it sparks my life. Can I take you there?
Hi everyone, so basically today this video is a little bit different. I'm thinking that I'm going to tell you guys a little something about myself. I have a condition called epilepsy, and epilepsy is basically when you have seizures because the electrical signals in your brain are mixed up momentarily. A person becomes unconscious, their eyes roll backwards sometimes, they lose control of their body and they start having muscle contractions and things like that. And it's kind of scary. I'll basically include some links in the bio just to explain a little more about what epilepsy is, maybe in an easy to understand way, because I'm probably not going to be explaining the scientific details. I'm just going to be talking about what it's like to live with epilepsy. Hopefully this video can help someone out there who wants to learn about their loved one, or a friend or a classmate that has epilepsy, and it also might help out some people out there who might be just searching up after they've got a diagnosis. But let's get into it, and we'll see how this goes. Yeah, just get comfy. I'm comfy. I'm sitting on my bed in my room. I have my little teddy bears and stuff like that, and I'm going to use them for this video. First of all, I'm going to talk about how I discovered that I had epilepsy. So you kind of don't just wake up one day and, whoa, I have epilepsy. That's not really how it is. So I had never had seizures before. However, I had always been someone that tiredness affected me a lot. And basically one day I just got out of bed, went out to the kitchen. My dad was getting breakfast like he does for us every morning. I sat at the breakfast bar. I just remember Dad giving me my Milo in a cup and sort of handing it to me. And as he turned away, I just remember seeing these two big black circles just like coming towards me and just getting bigger, and they were getting bigger as they were getting faster towards me, and I just remember being so scared, and that's it. That's all I remember. And then when I woke up, I was on the floor and I was looking up at my mum and dad and a paramedic. I had no idea what had happened. And then they started explaining to me, you've had a seizure, but don't worry. And they started asking me things about, you know, what did I remember? And I just couldn't really remember the past few days. My brain was a little jumbled up and it was a bit scary. So essentially what had happened was I had gone unconscious, and that's what those dots were. And I was sitting on a chair and I just sort of let out a little groan, and then I fell backwards. My body just went backwards and my eyes rolled back. I foamed at the mouth. I just lost control of my bowels, so I peed myself, and I stopped breathing for a little bit. I got a little bit blue, and it was just over after a minute or so, and I had no memory of what had happened, and that was really weird. And so that happened 2 more times, and each time it happened in the morning after I'd gotten up, and you know, both times were in a bathroom. And so that big seizure, you have to have 3 of those, or well, I did in my case, before I could be diagnosed as having epilepsy. It's done with an EEG, and they put electrodes on your head and they do some tests to see what your triggers are to cause you to have a seizure. So most people who have epilepsy, we have triggers, and a lot of people automatically think of flashing lights. For me, I don't like flashing lights because it reminds me of the fast being unconscious, but my trigger is actually fatigue. So that can be tiredness from anything. And that's why sleep is something really, really important to me. My friends and my family know that I'm not like other people. If I don't have enough sleep, I can't function. It's really hard for me. It doesn't mean that I'll always have a seizure if I don't get enough sleep, but it just means that it's a bit hard. But I'm lucky because after I was diagnosed with epilepsy, I went on medication. I went on Epilim, which is sodium valproate, and that probably essentially changed my life. It's a purple pill. I take it in the morning and at night, and it keeps me safe, and I have not had any tonic-clonic seizures since. But I do get minor seizures. So there are other types of seizures, and I'll just explain the ones that I get. So sometimes if I haven't had my medication, like you might miss it or not have it at the right times, I've seen my body shake. So I've still been conscious, but I look down and my torso is just shaking like this, but it's my torso down. And then there are other ones where I see a part of my body just shake like this. And you know, sometimes that happens to people, but it's for other reasons. But if you've been diagnosed with epilepsy, then that sort of counts as one of your minor seizures. The other type of seizure I've had is an absence seizure, and that's when it looks like I'm looking out into the distance, but I don't respond to my name, and I have no recollection of what just happened. I sort of go unconscious, but I don't fall to the ground. So yeah, I know it sounds so silly, or it might sound so silly, but it feels like a weakness when you are tired and you can't explain that you can't do what normal people do. But because tiredness is such a normal thing and everybody experiences tiredness, you can't, sometimes it's hard to explain to someone that, hey, I'm different, like I'm really struggling. People really close to me have said that when I'm tired it's a bit like looking after a drunk person, maybe, because I get words mixed up and I have a bit of trouble walking, and it's just really hard. It feels heavy and sluggish, and like I just can't quite do things. Quite often if you're trying to do something or do extra things, you skip out on sleep, but for me that's a thing I can't afford to do. At the same time, epilepsy, other than that, doesn't affect me too badly from day to day. It actually turned out to be a really good thing, because when I was in the hospital getting tested, I was sitting on my dad's lap because I was really scared, and I looked across directly in front of me and there was a neuroscience poster, and it was advertising neuroscience, saying, hey, are you interested in the brain? Get involved in science. And I'd never thought of science as a career before then. And then I discovered that I had a passion for wanting to help others like myself. That's how I discovered medicine. So it turned out to be something really, really cool, and epilepsy doesn't define me, it's just part of who I am. I just want to say a last little thing to people out there that have epilepsy. It's not meant to be emotional, I'm very sorry, but it just is, because my heart genuinely goes out to you. If you have epilepsy, or if you have anything, like, I mean, we all have a little something, don't worry. It's really hard not to worry, because it's really scary to miss out on a memory. It's hard to have a jumbled memory of the past and have to relearn little things of what might have happened, and it's hard to after going through something with your brain, it's hard to be cold all the time or really hot, or experience things a lot more harshly because your brain had a shock. But don't worry, because it comes right in the end, and I guess I don't really have any good advice other than that, because anyone with any condition or anything that's seen as something wrong with us, we're just going through life step by step as well. We have to help each other because everybody has a little something going on and we just don't know what it is. And yeah, but not to end on a sad note, because this is not meant to be a sad video, it's meant to be an informative video. Purple is the colour for epilepsy, for the Epilepsy Foundation. Wear purple on Epilepsy Day. Look out for people if you see somebody having an epileptic fit. Put them in the recovery position. That's why it's really important to know first aid. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I know that was such a strange video with lots of different information and all of that, but I really hope this chat can help somebody out there. See you next time.